So here I have two charts to show height. Okay, I've got two 2-meter rulers. I've got one here and one here, but they're slightly different. Okay, they're slightly different. The difference is the intervals they go up in. Okay, so although we would normally call them intervals, we can also think about them as being fractions here. Okay, so how many fractions, what is the fraction for this one? How many parts have I got to my whole? So here is my whole, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 parts, so I know that these must be quarters. Okay, so these go up in quarters. Okay, so this will go, so a quarter, 2 quarters or 1/2, 3 quarters, a whole, 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4 too. Okay, so we know that that one's in quarters. But what is the fraction for this one? Okay, how many parts make up our whole? So we've got 1 part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 parts make up our whole. So we know that each part must be worth 1/5. So we've got 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 1 metre, 1 metre and a fifth. Okay, and it continues up. So if we were to add our heights on here, where would we add them? So we know that Rayhan is 1 1/4 metres tall. Okay, so if we're looking at quarters, we've got to think which one would be more sensible for us to use. And obviously it'd be the one that's split up into quarters. So if Rayhan is 1 1/4, we would go to 1 and then find 1 1/4. So Rayhan would go there. Aishi is 1 2/4 or 1 1/2 metres. So again, we go to our 1 and then we count up 1, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Okay, so that would be Aishi. Tilly is 3/4. So Tilly hasn't got a whole metre yet, so she's not quite there. So she's only 3/4. So we'd go up from the bottom. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So Tilly would be there. Okay, and then with Shiv, it's a bit more different. It's a bit different, okay, because Shiv is in fifths. So would it make sense for us to use this one? Would it make sense for us to use this one this time? Okay, we're going to use the one that's in fifths for Shiv. So he's 1 metre and a fifth. So we're going to go up to our whole 1 metre and 1/5. So Shiv would go there. Okay, and James I'm going to put on here. Okay, so that, it's not a very straight line. That is where James is. So have a little think, what is James's height? What is James's height? Okay, so there's our 1 metre, and then we're going to count up in fifths. So 1 metre and 1/5, 1 metre and 2/5, 1 metre and 3/5. So we know that James is 1 metre and 3/5 tall.